All right, I believe we're live. So, as y'all can see, we'll be talking about the many faces of homelessness. This is a serious topic. There will be profanities in the video. For those of you that have not grown up yet, I'm going to tell you right now that some of the stories I'm going to tell you will be very compelling. Okay, so if you can't handle reality, if you're unsure of whether or not you like shit sugar coated, this would not be the video for you. You want to skip that and go on down to the Dollar Tree and go get you a little gift. All right. One thing I'm going to say is, as a consultant, so let's do some introductions so we're very clear. I'm the owner of Section8Consulting.com, and today you're seeing me within my cabin. Many of you know that not only do I own that company and work with around 700 to 1,000 clients a year, I work with landlords. And this year, because I have 18 cats, virtually no apartment complex would take me. So we have this cabin, and we're out here in 10 acres. That's the problem. No homeowner or apartment complex would take me. So we're riding out in the storm to buy another house when things deflate. So judge me if you will. Mr. Mystery, good afternoon. Shirley Griffin, welcome to the channel. So one thing I want to discuss is homelessness and those many faces out there. As a society, and what I'm seeing is rather scary. As a society, we have learned to segregate people and judge them. But the reality is the stigma that follows Section 8 getting vouchers and housing is anything but what's being reported on the news. Sure, it's fantastic to sit there for a channel to get a lot of ad revenue and other things to publish somebody that's a crackhead that's rented a house and tore everything up, or to sit there and degrade other minorities in our country when it's completely uncalled for. The reality of what I do is most of the people that I deal with are old. They worked all their lives. They were married. Their husbands left them. All the things and events happen. Most of you, whether you want to admit it or not, have faced situations that were pretty dire in your own life, where you damn near were bankrupt. Your shit was almost on the corner, and you faced almost an imminent reflection of whether or not you might have been homeless yourself. But yet in this country, we sit here and we deal with our homeless like they're trash. And yeah, I get that. We got Skid Row, and we have true drug users and alcohol abusers. But all of these people, at some point, were somebody. And the attitudes and other things that I see prevail in our society has become unmanageable. Spoke with a lady tonight. She's moved in with a son, and let's be very clear. Here's a mother in her 50s. Gets put out the house like a piece of trash. Sleeping in a tent in a park. Because it's inconvenient. Because we no longer value compassion or love. We admire and we seem to worship our political idealism. Well, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, and fuck the homeless. Despite the fact of being that almost 95% of the people on the streets are people that have retired and maybe they didn't plan good enough. Not everybody is born with a 200 IQ. Not everybody that grew up in a trailer had the option to go to UCLA. You see my point? It's disgusting as I see it play out. I've been doing this a long time, 21 years. And I'm seeing people on the streets that don't need to be there. But we would prefer that $9 Starbucks or iPhone and a big screen TV. And then we talk to people like they're fucking pets at the streetlight while they beg for money. Now, there's an understanding there are people that do it that are out there for their own reasons. But the reality is I've sampled the market over 20 years. Anytime you want to compare notes, I tell you that a lot of these people that are out there is because they need the help. And, it's a cold reality. I want to tell you about a story in California, the many faces of homelessness. Let's talk about that. A housewife with a husband that drank a lot. One night goes on a tirade. Here's a woman that's been with him 18 years. Okay, client of mine. He swings a kitchen knife and rakes off all 5 fingers. The city of Los Angeles found it fit to first send her to the ER in care, And then the hospital dumps her on the street like a dog. The housing authority couldn't give a shit. Now the woman's got no fingers. She's on the street. Of course, she's my client. This is how we show love and gratitude in this country. It's disgusting, right? I think of another case of a mother who's almost 68 years old. And I can go through these stories all day long. These are not people that have a crack pipe in their mouth. These are not people that are turning tricks out of unit number 9. This is the vast majority of my clients. We treat our veterans the same way. They go fight a war. Now you sign up for a war, don't you? You sign up. You don't know if you're going to be killed. You don't know if it's active or not active. We serve our country. They return. We celebrate for 10 minutes. And while they're dealing with that emotional toll of going out there and shooting people and being shot at, the very virtue of not knowing whether they even lived through a war, they return here. And what do we do as a nation? We treat people like fucking trash. These veterans end up on the street. And then the whole idea is we can thank it to Eyewitness News, ABC, Fox News, CNN, Republican and Democrat. And we treat them like trash. Oh, that fucking dog at the light. Don't give him one fucking nickel. I've seen this over and over and over. It's disgusting. So I'm making this video in gratitude to these people because I understand. And if any of you think you're so good that you never thought about or ever faced an issue of maybe you drank too much or maybe you took one too many painkillers from your doctor when your back went out and you think you're so fucking without any problem, then you need to check yourself. So the many faces of homelessness, the reality and the factors are, I'm dealing with people in wheelchairs with MS, MD, muscular dystrophy, children in wheelchairs that are living in the woods, veterans who fought wars and never smoked a crack pipe, but yet, we can't be bothered. We need a $9 Starbucks and a new $1,000 fucking iPhone. And I'm really at a limit point with this in my life, seeing so many desperate people that want help, but we're just too fucking interested in having the newest Mary Kay fucking box show up in our fucking delusional worlds. You know, in 21 years of trying to save people, the adversarial or repercussions of dealing with housing authorities that hire ignorant ass people that could not give a damn whether or not a person will get a voucher or not. People have no vested interest, don't care, don't give a shit. Call 211, you might as well have called the party clown line. These people are so fucking stupid. The only actionable thing they're able to do is push buttons on a keyboard and give people broken numbers. No wonder why I exist. You think, and a lot of people think, they call me, well, here's some middle-aged white man with his hair shaved off. He couldn't possibly understand my plight in life. Well, you know what, guys? About 27 years ago, I got put out of my own house. I spent 10 years, a decade, same amount of time most people do for bank robbery, rolling around the streets with nothing. So I don't just do my job. I've also walked a fucking mile. And in many cases, I've actually been out there at one point in my life longer than most of the real homeless people. Nothing. Sitting at the Union Gospel, having people breathe the Bible down my neck, but yet the devils are preaching it. Do I have a problem with Christians? Absolutely not. You go on down to Gospel Union, get your roll of socks, and nobody gives a shit. And the one person there that's supposed to be your caseworker don't give a fuck if you ever get housing. You are there instrumentally to swing a mop, make sure you're at service, and get your bed ticket and get the fuck out. So let's be honest, right? So if you don't think I know what I'm doing, then I tell you what, go find the second best consultant in the nation. There is no distinguishing factor against me and that of a housing authority and 211. There is absolutely no indifference to that in the fact that I know I'm the best. There is nobody that even comes on the same fucking plateau as me when it gets to people getting housing. But also, let's be also very clear, when we deal with those faces of homelessness, when we lose our ability to have a mental, compassionate center, what it means to love and care and empathize, and when we live in a plastic Barbie doll world, when we no longer care what happens to people, then we end up in this situation. We question reality. And I'm one of the very few consultants that will actually deal with people that have got bipolar, schizophrenia, multiple personalities, and other issues. Why? Because other consultants would rather sit there with a chandelier in their office, cashing checks. Their job is to clock in. There's no empathy, there's no care, and there's certainly no understanding. They'll pull out that dollar store ink, can help you fill out a fucking application, but will you ever get housing? No. I have built my reputation in this company on the back of where I've been. And I've walked that 10 miles over 10 years. I know it. I know it intimately. So anybody that ever wants to question my integrity as a businessman or my ability to get people housing, they're out their mind. And the extraordinary feature that I would spend 12 and 18 hours a day through this company to help people throughout this pandemic when it was nearly impossible is absurd. So, the message I think in this video really is we need to revisit our moral center. It doesn't have to be God's or religion or the church. We've forgotten. We really have forgotten what it means to appreciate. I had a client just the other day. Let me tell you a story. I'm not going to tell you the client's name. Young man gets on the phone, gets an attitude. I'm not in servitude to you, partner. You see what I'm saying? I'm not in servitude to you. I'm here to help you. When you become adversarial and you treat me like I'm the support at Amazon, like you're going to sit there and talk shit to me on my own phone while I'm trying to help you, then I will give you your money back and wish you, and then you can call the experts at 211. What is your other option? Call the housing authority. You can talk to the evil bitch that answers the phone there. And then what's your third option? You call a HUD specialist, right? So the many faces of homelessness is this. We have to do more to appreciate those that are out here struggling to help people. Look, this channel right here and all these videos, 400, 500, 600 videos over a decade. I can count on two hands how much I've been paid. It don't even cover the monitor, but yet I do it. Does anybody ever consider the 14 years I spent and didn't charge people a nickel? No. It's a competition to whether or not they can see whether they can give me 1 star or 5 stars. And this is people that are begging for my help, but yet have it in their mind they're running something. You don't run shit in my life. But again, back to that faces of homelessness. We have to consider the real options out here. We have to face those realities. There's lots of videos on YouTube, all these consultants and experts. 1 minute they're an expert at, I always say, the fidget spinner. Tomorrow they're going to be a master. These people have never read policy, procedure, data manuals, about 28,000 pages of federal regulation. I've got law firms that hire me to consult under them so they can go bill at 8 times what I do. But yet I'm still, in principle, have to be relegated down to being judged by my own clients. And then I deal with them being judged by other people in society. If I don't care, then who would? If I'm the only one that's going to sit on the phone with a person with schizophrenia and help them, then who the fuck will? So we need to come back to the center of reality and figure out what our true goals are. If you're struggling with housing, then, you get with a consultant if there's one out there, and then you deal with what you have to deal with. But we take far too much for granted. We judge too much. And I've watched people that are a step from homelessness sit there and judge another homeless person. This is wild. It's out of control. This pandemic has brought out so much evil in people, whether they're actually my clients or people that have got it good. The other day, I billed $795 for 4 months of casework. Let's break that down mathematically. The woman that works at the Taco Bell that can clock in, she presses the picture of the taco on the fucking register. She's making what? $15 an hour. I make, when you break that down over 4 months, I make what? $90 a week. That means that even people that are blind and disabled at the fucking Goodwill make more than I do when I'm working on people's cases. But yet I deal with adversarial clients. But yet I still exist after all these years. So it's not a rant. It's not so much a rant, but I think that it needs to be stated and understood that If you genuinely want help, you have to stay the course. This is not easy, it's not simple, and it's not Amazon. It takes a lot. Sometimes my clients have to move to a different state. Sometimes we have to sit there and write out demand letters to in-house counsel to 20, 30, 40 different housing authorities. But what we're not doing is selling unicorns and rainbows. If it was that fucking easy, everybody'd be doing it. So my mission in life till I take my last breath is to help as many as I can possibly do. Some which will love me for it, some which never will. They'll get what they want. I'll never hear from them again. It's a rather thankless job. It really is. People give what they want. You think I ever hear back from them? Do you think I get a Christmas card? No. I've used that man. I've got what I want. I've got my voucher. Fuck him. Goodbye. Gratitude is such a rare jewel in this world. So when I take my last breath, as I'm communicating clearly here, I won't regret the life I've lived. I won't regret the clients. I won't regret helping Bob with schizophrenia that harassed me all the way through his case. I'll continue to do what I do. I'll still have that compassion. You might rattle my cage a little, but we have got to revisit what it means to be a human and show a little more compassion about things. Otherwise, you're going to end up out there with a rodeo clown on YouTube making videos that's going to need you to drive your bicycle down to CVS to go get them 19 gift cards. And they're going to get you a voucher with 3 easy tips and tricks. Or maybe they're going to sell you one of these programs for $400. They're going to make a set of bullshit videos that's full of fluff. You might as well bought yourself a pamphlet. We got another person who actually wrote a book on Section 8. That was a fabulous joke. You'd have been better off reading a Playboy magazine than you would have actually taken advice of that fucking book. I don't even know how they published that woman. I mean, if you could fix stupid, that would have been the occasion to do so. The fact that anybody could publish that much nonsense, it was like the most salted thing I'd ever seen. You'd have been better off taking advice from Sally smoking crack on 3rd Street than buying that book. And then you got another guy on YouTube out here. He's selling programs. Wild, man. So, yeah, I'm on a tear, and most people know that about me. But you know what? This isn't sensationalism. When we actually get a taste of reality and we get a dose of what it is actually to speak face to face and understand each other, then the profanities don't matter. The story doesn't matter. What matters is you're just hearing the truth. And for some of us, we can't digest that. So going back to that lady that I'm trying to deal with, she doesn't have a hope in hell. If I don't help this woman, I can assure you one thing. She won't be with us in 10 years. She likely will have an intervention between those that are doing drugs and alcohol, and she may even fall prey to it, if not prostitute. So when I go and I quit my day and end it, I'm not sitting at Larry's steak shop having a $99 bottle of whiskey. I'm sitting in my bed thinking about whether or not I can actually save this woman from committing suicide, from keeping her from getting prostituted, whether or not if I can get her out of there quick enough before she becomes a drug addict or an alcoholic, and whether or not I can actually wind her through take a broken person in a broken situation and get them through all of that without further damaging them if they have the patience to do so. That's my job. That's the same job I've always done. Through that pandemic, 2.5 years, 18 hours. You think anybody gave a damn I did that? No. All right, let's take on a few comments here because I'm on a tear tonight. I had to get it out of me because it's so sad right now, the things that I'm seeing. Mr. Good evening. good chat. And one person is actually, their YouTube name is Nutcase. Well, hello, how are you? Yeah, I'm in Texas. Welcome to the channel. Shirley Griffin says, by the way, thanks for taking the time to share tonight. Stay safe from the Ozarks. Yes, ma'am, Miss Shirley. I appreciate you being here. And I was out in those Ozarks, as y'all remembered. I had actually attempted to buy a home and land out there, but it didn't work out. Lady TH, there is a lot of veterans on our streets in Georgia. Yes, there is. These are the people that actually put their life on the line out there in wars, whether they were active or not, didn't know whether they'd die or not, signed up. And boy, I tell you what, the way we treat them, bad. Lady TH goes on to say, I've tried to get a housing with the Housing Authority for over 7 years after undergoing breast cancer. I'm sorry to hear that you're going through that, Lady TH. Ocean Sound 100, are you sure that when purchasing a home, we have 10 to 15 years of help with a voucher? Well, when you purchase a home with a voucher, you're not using the voucher to purchase the home. The voucher you're utilizing against the mortgage of your own home, and depending on if you're on a conventional 15 or 30 year, will depend on how long the housing authority will continue to allow you to use a voucher payment against that mortgage. Ocean Sound 100, TH, I'm diagnosed with two. Okay, so TH says, I'm grateful for everything you do. I appreciate that, Lady TH. Ocean Sound goes on to say, do you need a cake? And your cake plate's behind you. So that, y'all know, I bought that damn thing because I do want to put a cake in there. I tried to bake a cake, and unfortunately, I'm one of those people that, unfortunately, I'm only good at certain things. And if you're anything like me, I cannot stand washing clothes. I hate washing dishes. And I just learned the other day that my baking skills do not add up. So, yeah, I would be a complete fraud if I was a cake baker. So, if y'all see me make a video on 3 tips and tricks to bake the perfect cake, then please shut it off. Unsubscribe. I didn't do a very good job. The cakes were so dry I almost choked on them. So, yeah. God's child. Thank you, sir, for all you do. I appreciate that. And that's a shout out from Dallas, Texas. Good to hear from Dallas. Did lots of clients out there. Super Queen B45, thank you for all you do. Well, thank you very much. Ocean Sound 100 says, you said buy a house best to example home and a few bedrooms for a chance. Yeah, I did. Well, I always see you guys, no matter how big of a rant I go on in my videos, you always have the most curious questions, which I think is amazing. I love answering those questions the best I can. Sometimes it's difficult to get a clear answer. So, well, guys, I want to tell you about one more event that happened that really did challenge my stress level. Somebody shot one of my cats. Now, y'all know I rescue cats, right? Here's an animal that has FIV that's slowly dying. And somebody took out a BB gun and decided to shoot my cat 7 times. Now, whether it's an adult or child, don't care. I will use everything within my power to have that fucker convicted. And I've ordered cameras that record to the cloud 24 hours a day. And if it's a child, I believe in second chances. But if you're going to be a little monster, look, these cats have been through a lot. And for somebody to do something like that is very serious for me. And trust me when I tell you, I have the time, the money, and the assets to absolutely pursue this to the ends of hell. You will run out of fucking money before you win against me. Trust me. And so right now, I think part of my aggravation is here's an abused cat that has now been abused again. And I'm going to have to address this gentleman. And if it means throwing his ass in prison, that's what I'll do. So that is bothering me today a little bit. But I think that I wanted to address the many faces of homelessness because I hear too much judgment. I'm hearing judgment from even my own clients. Well, I'm not homeless yet, and I'm not like those folks. Yeah, you are. We're all just a minute from there. Let me tell you something about homelessness. It only takes a couple of days for somebody to put your ass out the house, put all your shit on the sidewalk. By the time you get back the next day, it'll all be gone. Then you've got nothing, right? That took 3 days. How long would it take for me to drag your ass out of a homeless shelter after you lost everything? Months. The ride to hell is fast. The ride back up is very difficult. I had one client say, I'll just be home. I'll just move the shelter. No, well, let me tell you something, lady. You don't want to do that. You're exposing yourself to a different world and different kinds of folks and different elements. And some people don't ever make it out of that. You don't ever want to play that game. So it is what it is. Well, guys, I've enjoyed talking with you. I think that I've gotten that out of my system. If anybody has questions, they're welcome to ask. I just wanted to kind of address that. A taste of reality so we understand each other. If you want to hire a consultant that's going to talk to you pretty, whisper pretty little things in your ears, you do so. There's lots of sugar to be coated in. If you want a reality, you want somebody who understands the system in its entirety, somebody that can sit at a table full of HUD and housing authority employees and absolutely smoke their ass in a conversation, then you hire me. Okay? Anything beyond that's tips and tricks. Tips and tricks are for clowns. This is not a bake-off. Housing for people is a serious issue. The most expensive thing, an investment in your life, will be your home. Not your car, not your iPhone, not that 100-inch TV. It'll be your home. So for me to get out here, risk my reputation and my company against trying to get somebody housing, I'm not going to play with people's lives. It either happens or it don't. So I take that task very seriously, especially when I'm dealing with people that are 62 to 100, children that depend on oxygen and other things that are living in their wheelchair in the woods. I have a family of 12 from last year. We pulled them out the woods. Mom and dad made some poor choices. It is what it is. Permanent camping trip, right? This job is so serious. And so should you also respect your case. Because at a moment's notice, it could be your ass under the bridge on the street. And so the many faces of homelessness is simply to communicate one message. If you don't think for a minute that you're going to be able to get out of that, we all get old. And so is that social circle of people that help us. It's called a support system. You better take your responsibility of housing very seriously. And so you should also consider those options when you deal with people that are supposed to help you. And unfortunately, we already know how it goes with the housing authority. We already know how it goes with calling 211. We already know how it goes with calling 311. Nobody's going to give a damn except for you. Those people have no vested interest in you. They're not there to teach you anything. It makes no difference to them whether you get a voucher or a house in 5 minutes or 25 years. I need you guys to understand that. So ingratiate yourself when anybody's willing to deal with you, especially when I'm billing people less than the people that actually make money at Taco Bell. We have to come to an understanding, right? All right, guys, I'm going to move on with my night. I've got a lot of cats to feed and treats and different things, but I hope this message reaches some people. And, we got one more day to this week, and then this will all start again. And we're in an intense time. It's summer. It's hard out there. Many housing authorities are closed. I have to move people all over the country just to get vouchers. A lot of people in emergency situations sleep in their cars, sidewalks, homeless shelters. Domestic violence victims, people dying of HIV, dying of AIDS, seniors that are rotting away in homeless shelters and bad nursing homes. The cases are very real. The difference between me and a caseworker and a social worker is social workers and caseworkers' jobs to make you feel better. And if you need, they'll pull out that ink pen and they'll help you sign your name, your address, and your phone number. They don't know shit about Section 8. Why do you presume caseworkers and social workers are trained to do my job? They're not. They're trained to make you feel better about things, and they connect. When you hear somebody say, I'm going to connect you with a resource, it means I'm going to connect you with a phone number. I'm going to make you somebody else's problem, because that's not what I do. They do not, let me repeat, social workers, counselors, and caseworkers are not trained in what I do. They might have the right numbers, but they don't do what I do. And none of them to the extent of what I know. They don't read federal law, federal code, Title 24, policy, procedure, data manuals, none of it. Especially multiplying federal programs across 50 states, thousands of counties. All housing authorities have different operation policy procedures. So the count would be around 3 terabytes of information in your head. I have to disseminate that information and make the best decision possible for my clients. How can we get it? How do we win a rigged game that doesn't favor anybody? Where you deal with employees that could be prejudiced, biased, bigoted, additional layers of bullshit on top of that. Because we judge so much. All right, guys, I'm going to wish you a good night. And for those of you that are considering what you're going to do next, consider it carefully. And next time you want to get out here and judge that little old lady on the corner that needs 2 nickels in her cup, walk a mile in her shoes. There might be just a story there that you hadn't thought of before you go out there and figure out what fucking political side you're going to be on. Because one thing I'm going to tell you as a consultant, I don't have a political side. I don't give a damn who's voted into office. And the second thing I won't deal with is racism, prejudice, or bigotry. You bring that to me, I'm going to shut it down, and you call 211. And you figure out, you call your local Republican or Democrat and see if that fucker can get you housing. And he won't. He'll be around 9 o'clock at night sitting over at Joe's Steakhouse, stuck on a cigar. He don't give a damn what happens to you. As long as his hair is running at a crispy 68 degrees, he don't give a shit what happens to you. You're just another mentally ill clown that's nothing but a burden to him and a waste of time. That's what your politicians think of you, really. You think they worried up in those mansions what you do? You're calling up there, I called the governor, I called the Senate. People don't give a shit what you do. They'll care if it's election year. You got to face the facts, folks. I'm a rare breed of person that even cares. You guys have got it all wrong. All right, guys, y'all have a good night.